Know where they live.
How dare the New Age nuts tell us that they are awake, and by implication, the rest of us are somehow too stupid to figure out this inside information which they are privy to and we are not? What presumptuousness! What arrogance!
Alright, now that I've got that off my chest, just what is this so-called awake that the general population is not aware of? What's going on that we need to get hip to? Are they really just nuts, or is there some substance to their warnings and inside knowledge which we, apparently, need to become aware of, and real fast? Waking up involves, from what I've learned, several key points, but essentially it is this. We didn't heed the warnings of the military-industrial complex. Have no doubt, they can't help being and doing what they do. They cannot change. We must make the change. They are helpless to be anything other than what they are.
Every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
They spent our wealth on weapons, so now we will live on the streets. They poisoned our planet, so now we will get sick.
You have to realize this is one of the great presidents, great military leaders, on his way out the door. At the end of his second term, he says, by the way, watch out for the military-industrial complex.
They have controlled our lives, so we are happy with banality. They own many of our foods and seek to control them all, our water too. They are corporate America, big business, the multinationals, the source of all political corruption. They are the true enemy of mankind all across the globe. Some countries have already figured this out and are taking small steps to fix the problem, places like Bolivia and Ecuador. They and their bosom buddies, the military, have information and technologies that could change the world in positive ways within a matter of months. But we have not yet been milked for all the wealth they can take from us, and we lap at their fountains of oil, thirsty for the power, whatever the consequences. They don't care about you. That is perhaps the biggest part of waking up. They are ruthless enough to take out a sitting president and blow up buildings on American soil. These things were predicted by many people, Oppenheimer for one, back in the 50s, in this order: conflict with Russia, the Cold War, conflict with terrorists, and finally,
and my little baby, I tell you, God is your father.
conflict with aliens. That's right, E.T. And two have already accurately come to pass. You can bet what is coming next,
the moon
probably
of Mars.
this year.
There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there?
Whether it will be an elaborate false flag operation or in cooperation with an alien race remains to be seen.
I've read about this incident you had in 1951, and you said you saw literally hundreds of unidentifiable flying objects.
Yes, they were flying quite high. How high we couldn't tell because we couldn't get anywhere near their altitude. But they were either very large craft way up or smaller craft still well above what we could get to.
For a day and a half, all of this happened. But then no one wanted to talk about it.
Well, we sent a report forward on it, and the answer that finally came back months later was they were probably high-flying seed pods, which didn't sound very logical.
We have perhaps the next hardest to accept as part of our awakening process, that we are not and never have been alone. What do UFOs have to do with corporate control of our government? It's a big leap. Well, it's a case we hope to make in future episodes, but for now, let's just consider that if there were aliens, and there were craft and technology which were captured by our government, think of what it would do. Potential understanding that could eliminate our need for fossil or nuclear fuels. Now do you start to see why the new corporeal corporations would not want this? No way.
Report. Where do the 1% live? Really? I mean, where do they really live, Stacy?
Max, that's our first headline here. Where the 1% live, the 15 richest counties in America. And this is from Census Bureau data. And my answer is that pretty much they live within an hour's drive of Washington, D.C.
Corporate powers dictating the actions of our government, in other words, fascism, is dangerous, and as a starting point to which we need to wake up. It is undeniably an assault on we, the people. Harder things to accept aside, like alien invasions, we must recognize what they are doing to our system of government, to our country, to our world. Now, no matter what happens, we must reconcile with the elite, know where they live, be prepared to show them. We will not accept their world plans. Show them we are ready to take back what is the birthright of every human being
Booz
on our
Allen
planet.
Hamilton, SAIC, which is of course a Science Applications International Corporation, which does a lot of work for the NSA, Freddie Mac, Northrop Grumman, and Lockheed Martin. So it appears that being part of the surveillance state makes you very wealthy.
Well,
Waking up recap. Number one, know where they live. You are nothing to them. Their game is rigged, so without violence, be ready to take back what they have stolen from us in no uncertain terms. No more tricks, no fixing a system proven, dead-ended time and again, and always in favor of the wealthy. Consider the ideas of the Venus Project, the Zietgeist movement, and others as a real solution, not just putting more patches on a system that came with us out of the caves. Number two, be ready for disclosure.
How can we know for sure exactly how many extraterrestrial races are visiting us or interacting with humanity? I mean, there are different sources disclosing some of that information. I found none the most credible to be whistleblowers, people who have worked in these various secret projects, who in some way have kind of been given information that gives them an idea of exactly how many races are here.
My public image may take a hit for this. I do care what people think, so I go out on a limb on this one, but it is an important part of becoming aware of the bigger forest. Former astronauts, police, military personnel, airline pilots, and more. They know what they saw, and they count on us to believe them.
And he talks about over 60 races that are visiting the Earth.